I realize that there's a lot of rules that are made up, especially for women, that is made to oppress us and keep us in this loop of just like needing validation and wanting validation when we don't really need it and everything like that. And honestly, when you realize that all of this shit, look, I don't want to swear. I don't want to swear. I'm trying to stop swearing. But when you realize that all of this stuff is made up, you will be free. I'm telling you, you will be free. You will not care. You know, you'll be living your life truly for you. And now I feel like I low-key have fun with it. Like when I see comments, I no longer allow myself to, I love the fact that I no longer get triggered. I just don't, because I realize that a lot of people are just conforming to a reality. And then that to me makes me feel sorry for them, that they haven't thought for themselves and they've just thought down this very narrow-sighted like road. Why is it like that? Oh god, it's gonna look really white, isn't it? Guys, I promise in real life it isn't. Well, I can't promise that actually. I can't promise what it really looks like in real life, but it's okay. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay. Hey guys, it's Eugenie. Welcome back to my channel. What have you new? So you guys can tell, let me move this because you guys can literally see the steam from my tea right now. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What have you new? So today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. It's fun for me. I love the thought of this topic. And it's something that I've just realized over maybe the last couple of months or so. And it's a very interesting concept when you think about it. It interests me anyway. So also, I just love putting like backgrounds on, and this one's really pretty. It's like it's like pink and then the ocean. It just looks so nice. Like wow, absolutely love it. I love looking at stuff like this, and like lo-fi music hits different. Oh wait, before I start, can I show you guys these really cute flowers? We did some shopping. I think it was Asda, and for some reason, like I guess over Easter, they were just sending people like thank you flowers for shopping with them. And they're so pretty and they're blooming so quickly, and it's giving, and it's matching this vibe. It's giving ads anyway. Okay, so as you can see on the title, we're going to be talking about reality and how it's made up and it's not real and blah, blah, blah. And I know you're going to be like, oh god, what are you talking about? Reality is real. Reality is reality. Is it? Okay, I'm kidding. Okay, I'll get into it and I'll explain exactly what I mean. Okay, so over the past couple of months, I've been getting into a lot of different topics over the past like year and a half, to be honest with you. And like I think out loud, so I discuss certain topics that I think of like in my head, and I'm like and I try and like just figure out where my mind goes and like whatnot. I have been getting into a lot of topics, and I realized a lot of the things that we struggle with, it is a choice. I'm not talking about like finances, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our mindset on who we allow to let in and influence us, and what we allow to affect us and think about ourselves. I'm here to clarify, to put it simply, your decision on caring about other people's opinions is a decision that you're deciding to make. Sometimes it can be like, I guess you call it on like a subconscious level, but what I mean is like, when we're caring about what other people are trying to convince us on how we need to see ourselves as, and like our insecurities that we have on our self-image and stuff like that, based off of other people's projections and what they tell us, like if they're calling you names, whatever, you are deciding to struggle with that by caring about what they've got to say in the first place. And I think it's something that people need to try and work on. It's not easy, because I know firsthand what it feels like to struggle heavily with like insecurities like that. It's not. Trust me, it took me years to get to a point where I felt comfortable with myself. So I understand. But I had to recognize that like no one's going to come and save me though. So like if I want to get to a better place, I'm going to have to recognize that I've got to drag myself to where I want to be and where I deserve to be. That's basically what I mean. So I hope no one gets it twisted being like, oh, like, what do you mean it's a choice? Like, we've got to start taking accountability. A lot of the things that we're deciding to think of when it comes to ourselves, it is a choice. Like, no one's forcing you and holding a gun to your head. Like, you are deciding to sit there and degrade yourself in your mind when you should be trying to work on not doing that for your own sanity and just for love and respect for yourself. But so like, let's say the image that you have, like what you look like and how you dress and how you think it should be and shouldn't be and everything like that, is influenced a lot by other people. And normally it's people that aren't really that confident themselves, but they do have the confidence to try and tell you how to be. But you know what I mean? It's like, You stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. And I realized I'm going to use a beauty standard for this conversation, just because I feel like it would be a lot more like you'd be able to understand it better. I realized something when I was seeing certain comments from people that would like maybe like try and degrade people. This goes into anyone like fat shaming or other things. And I realized something, and I was like, a lot of reality is a made up thing to make other people feel better. Take race, for example. Degrading. I'm gonna take race and gender specifically because I want to specify black women in this topic for an obvious reason. if you can't tell, but for example, take black women being looked at as the least desirable group on the planet. The funny thing that I find about this topic is this was just a random made up concept to make other people feel better about the way they looked. Because if you need to derive your confidence from another group of people, whether it's to do with race or how their hair is or how I don't care, their eyebrows, their nose, their cheekbones, I don't care, anything. It could be anyone, even outside of race. It could be anything, just on looks in general. And I realized, and I was like, if you need to derive your confidence from like somebody else, that makes you not confident anyway. Like, if they were to disappear today, who would you compare yourself to feel better? Like, who would you compare yourself to so that you can feel better about yourself? Absolutely no one. Now you're just there thinking, oh, well, am I really that pretty? I'm like, girl. And I'm like, I'm talking about this because this is what made me realize that reality is made up and you actually have a choice to just be like, you know what? I don't really care. And honestly, I don't. Honestly, I don't care because these people are of no importance. And one thing I realized is that people can only be important if you make them important. If someone says something to you and you allow it to affect you, it's because now you've made that person important. Without you realizing it, you have put them on a pedestal, meaning now you've put their opinion on a pedestal and now you're affected and hurt by what they've said. If you didn't put them on a pedestal and you didn't give a damn about who they were and where they come from or whatever, how much money they have, you wouldn't give a damn about what they just said. It's like, okay, next, and I realized how this stuff is not real. It's made up. Somebody made up a reality of, oh, this is how this person should be treated based off their skin tone or off their weight or off of this and that and other things. And it's like, it's not real. The only reason why it's real is because a lot of you conform to it. A lot of you agree and you're like, oh yeah. And some of you agree because it benefits you, and then some of you are agreeing based off of insecurities and a lack of confidence, and that's understandable. But a lot of people are agreeing to a certain reality that is so toxic, and I hate. One of the things I really dislike is when people say, oh, that's just life. No, that's not just life. That's how people make life to be. And when you say it's just life, you kind of make it seem like there's nothing we can do about it. That's just the way it is. Like, no, that's not just the way it is. It seems that way because maybe we were born into the system already being like this. But in reality, like in reality, it was made up reality. Does that make sense? Like, it's a very interesting concept when I think about how people will speak on things like it's facts. Like they'll say, well, this person is unattractive because they're this. And I'm like, this is made up. It's not, it's made up. You guys act like some kind of big goddess came down, some big god came down and said something like, oh, this is how it's meant to be. Like, no, another human being made this up. Literally. Clarification for the video. Although it's real in the sense that we have to deal with the consequences of these things being believed into, what I mean is that it's something that you can still choose to not believe in. It is not a real thing that is in this golden written book for the way life is supposed to be. Like, reality is literally what you make it, and people don't like to hear this. And obviously there's going to be certain things in life where you're going to come across obstacles and struggles, and everyone has a different different strives to deal with in life. But when it comes to things like this, like let's say the beauty standard, for example, it's to me one of those things where you don't have to believe that you are less than because of something. This is what somebody else believes, and they want you to believe it. And people will say, well, you're still going to deal with the consequences. You still don't have to conform to it. As human beings, I really wish we would take back our power and stop sitting here and thinking that we have to take in what everyone else is saying to us and believe in it just because someone else said so. It's given very much oh, we're in school still, oh, this person so and so said this, so let's believe and let's just go along with it. No, use your brain. Somebody could tell me, well, you're not the standard of beauty. Okay, that's fine. Now what? if I end up allowing that to get to me, I'm now allowing that other person's narrative to dictate my life when I could have just told my own narrative. I might not be the standard of beauty in many places. That doesn't mean that I have to find myself ugly or displeasing or look at myself a certain way. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't have to take that reality on. I can literally choose to still love myself and live my life, because at the end of the day, since I'm here, I've got no choice but to live it anyways. Like, you know what I mean? And I would rather live it in the way that I want to live it. So just for clarification, that is what I'm trying to say. So of course we deal with the consequences, because I know people are going to try and run and not understand what I'm saying, because I forgot how the internet works, and you have to like clarify everything. You know, like, of course reality is real in the sense of, you know, like the consequences of like people believing in these negative tropes about people and like stereotypes and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, like, things are still only real because you gave it meaning. It just is what it is, and you believed in the meaning. So now it's like, okay, another human being, I say another human being, but it could be like multiple other human beings made up this reality. So we can manipulate you then. Somebody can say the sky is green when it's really blue, and you'll be like, yeah, that's facts. It's like, it's so odd to me. And I did write some notes down on this topic, guys. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. I don't know who's on their motorcycle, go somewhere else. But I wrote down some notes because I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose my train of thought about this topic, because I'm not gonna lie, normally I say channel, but I'm gonna use that word. I normally channel like these talking points and thoughts really well when I'm just like in my room and I'm just like really thinking and like having like a moment with myself. And then when I'm filming, it kind of just like disappears a bit. So I'm gonna go to the point to try and keep this more like neat, if you get what I mean. I'm gonna go back to the point on the beauty standard, right? I realized when I was seeing certain comments, and it's always on TikTok, but it is on other places on social media in general. And I would see certain comments from people, and even I've dealt with comments as well, like where people have tried to say something to me, like a while back and whatnot. And I sat and I was like, the way how you guys will really try to convince people that this is all factual. Like, your opinion is your opinion. It's not a fact. It is not a fact. Guys, please get it into your head. Your opinion, when you say in my opinion, that's exactly what it is. In your opinion, right? And it really got me thinking. I was like, some of you don't know the difference between facts and opinions. Like, a lot of people just don't get it. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, trying to convince people to live in your reality. And it's like, that's your opinion though. You know that meme is like, that's my opinion. like that's your opinion. Like, sometimes I'm like, the way, a good example of this is that trend that went around, and it was like, oh, what would you, it was, especially when it's the guys asking women like, oh, what would you rate yourself, right? There was a popular sound on TikTok, and she was like, I'm a 10. And I was like, period. You are a 10. And the guy was trying to, like when guys do this thing where they try and tell you like, no, what would you really rate yourself? And I'm like, why are you guys acting like she can't rate herself a 10? You guys never said that she could never choose 10. You know how dumb it sounds to ask someone to rate themselves from 1 to 10. They choose 10 and you tell them not to choose 10. So why did you have 10 as an option? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Why? Guys, what I mean by this as well is like, it just shows you how people are expecting you to sort of live through what they see you as, I just find it very interesting, like how people will show their insecurities and like try to project onto you in like different ways, and sometimes you don't even notice it because it's so like smoothly done in a way. But it just was really interesting to see him be like, oh, don't rate yourself a 10, what would you really rate yourself as? And I'm like, that just shows that when you asked her the question, you wanted her to answer it from how you seen her. And that's one video. I've seen another one, like, these, I'm not gonna mention these podcasts, but the same thing happened on a podcast. And one of the guys was saying, like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but you're not a 10, da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, but to you though. And like, people keep forgetting, like, to you. When you ask someone what they would rate themselves, you're asking them literally as their own individual person what they would rate themselves. Why? What do I look like? Somebody asking me what do I rate myself, and I say, oh, a 4. Listen, if you want to see me as a 4, you have every right to see me as a 4, a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3. I don't care. I mean, go in the minuses if you want to. But guess what? Like I said, that's your perception. That is your, that's your reality. And that's fine. That's not my reality. And I'm pretty sure my opinion on my own self would be the most important. Like, as long as I know I'm happy and I'm good, then I don't know why I'd make anybody else more important. Like, that's the most backwards way to live, in my opinion. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of add that point in because I just found it really interesting the way he was like trying to like tell this girl like she can't rate herself at 10, and I'm like, yes, she can. And if you didn't want her to, you should have asked the question. Because even if you said 1 to 5 and she said 5, you just don't want her to rate herself a high number. Bye. And then anyways, and I remember like when I was seeing videos like that, and I was like, do you understand what you sound like right now? Like, you're trying to convince this person to rate themselves low because you believe that they are lower than that, but you just asked them to rate themselves. Why are you now telling them that they can't rate themselves what they wanted to rate themselves? I honestly feel sorry for people. I really do. The thing about that is this just ties into it. That's their reality. And because reality is made up, they can make that their reality because we are allowed to view ourselves however we want to view ourselves, whether it's negative or positive. We do have control over what we want to see ourselves as. So when you're trying to tell someone, oh, well, that's your reality that you've made up. If that's what you want to believe, that's what you want to believe. That's okay. Because remember, it's your opinion. I realize that there's a lot of rules that are made up, especially for women, that is made to oppress us and keep us in this loop of just like needing validation and wanting validation when we don't really need it and everything like that. And honestly, when you realize that all of this shit, look, I don't want to swear. I don't want to swear. I'm trying to stop swearing. But when you realize that all of this stuff is made up, it's random stuff that like, I need you guys to really make it something where it's very, it's such a tiny little fun thing that people just played with. They were like, oh, reality, oh, let's just jump. It's a literal board game. It's made up stuff. I can't put it anywhere else. Like, you really have to like stop for a second and really think about why you think this is facts, that somebody should get treated this way or somebody should get treated that way based off their appearance or, you know, their background or whatever or whatnot, right? Like maybe they were poor growing up or something. Why are we acting like these things are facts? Like, you can literally change them by just deciding to be a better person. Deciding, you know what, I'm going to actually self-evaluate why I have this thought process, where it comes from, and if it actually makes sense, and is it worth having, and would I like to be treated in this way? A lot of people need to start self-reflecting and realizing that the way you're treating people is not the way that you, one, need to, but also you have other choices. Just because you was born into this reality that's convincing you, oh, this is how it's meant to be, you can think for yourself. And honestly, I'm going to keep going on about how individuality is really dying out because a lot of people just don't want to think for themselves, like, at all. A lot of people have this mindset that they have to just follow everyone because if they follow everyone, then it makes sense. It's like, no, it doesn't. Sometimes following a bunch of people leads you to a dark, lonely cave that makes absolutely no sense. Like, I can't. I mean, it's just very fascinating to me when I think about it because now, whenever someone is, let's say, trying to degrade black women or make black women feel lower about themselves, and I'm bringing this up because I can relate to it the most and, you know, all that stuff, right? And I can speak about it a bit more clearly, but now I feel like I low-key have fun with it. Like, when I see comments, I no longer allow myself to, I love the fact that I no longer get triggered. I just don't, because I realize that a lot of people are just conforming to a reality, and then that to me makes me feel sorry for them, that they haven't thought for themselves and they've just thought down this very narrow-sighted like road, and that goes for anyone that fat shames, anyone that degrades anybody from a different ethnic group or anything like that. I just find it very like, I just find them weird, and I genuinely feel sorry for them because you are living in a very sad reality. Like, you are going by what another human being has said, and like, these other human beings aren't gods and goddesses. Like, they're just like you, another human being. So if they can make their own reality into this massive thing, so can you. You don't have to conform to it just because people tell you, oh Lord, yeah, that's just. Some of you need to pick up a book and a pen and start journaling and start writing down, what are the thoughts that I have that may be negative or maybe affecting another group of people, and how can I change that? You know what I mean? Is it actually a right thing to do? Where did it come from? Like, stop following everyone. Like, please stop following. You have your own mind. Please use it. Please. You have to understand, people feed off of insecurities, even when it comes to the economy. You know, like, they'll say this is an issue. You go and buy a bunch of skincare stuff. You keep going and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And some of these brands don't really care like that about your skin and all these other things. But they're feeding off of your insecurities. It's the same thing with this. Other people need to put other people down to feel good about themselves. It's that simple. It's not that difficult. So when people say like, why would you treat this person like that? Girl, because they don't like themselves. And for them to feel good about themselves and for them to be able to have the willpower to get up in the morning, they need you. They need you. They literally need you so they can be like, oh, I am better. But let's say we all disappeared now. The people that get degraded, we all just disappear off the planet. Now what? Now what? Like, now what? It's such an interesting thing to me. It really is. I just want to encourage anyone that's watching this, especially, this goes to anyone, but especially to women, because a lot of us have to conform a lot to, like, we don't have to. It's also a choice, but a lot of us choose, or we're just, no, a lot of us are pressured into fitting into the beauty standard. And this is a global issue, like everywhere. It's a global thing, right? But when you realize that none of this is real and you don't actually need to do anything, you will be free. I'm telling you, you will be free. You will not care. You know, you will be living your life truly for you, and you're going to be living in your authentic truth. And that is the most important thing. And I think that's what actually brings the most genuine type of happiness. And honestly, I feel so like, I don't use the word badass, but that's exactly what I feel like. I feel badass now that I can like see through people. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and I just feel like I want to remind people, like, you can feel how you want to feel, but remember, that's your reality. That's the reality that you chose to dive into, you know. And before anyone is like, oh, yes, there's a certain reality in terms of like the massive big picture. We all, in a sense, like, we experience a certain type of reality all together, but everyone is living in their own little individual realities. And at the end of the day, you get to choose how you view a certain group of people. You can choose whether you want to be derogatory to other people. You can choose if you want to be, you know, if you want to treat people good. That's going to determine the kind of reality that you're going to be living. You still have a certain amount of control over your own reality. Well, you have a large control over your reality with a lot of things, right? But I think a lot of us think that we just don't because of other things when it comes, especially when it comes to like the aspect of finances and stuff like that. But I just wanted to put this video out to kind of, anyone that's watching this, oh, you guys, maybe you could click on this video because you already knew this, okay? Which, I see you, we see each other, we get it. But it's just, I want people to understand that, like, you don't have to conform to anything. Like, you don't. It is a made up thing by, we know who and by who. Like, I'm not gonna, it's like a broken record at this point, but it's a made up thing, and it means absolutely nothing unless you give it meaning, unless you decide to give it meaning. And I don't care anymore. I don't care. Like, I genuinely, I'm like, okay. I'm not gonna lie, I had to change the backdrop thingy because it was like advert every 5 minutes. I'm like, girl, you know, I filmed for like 20 minutes. What are you doing? Like, maybe that's a good thing. Like, it helps me to like remember, like, oh, how long I've been talking for. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know if this video made sense. I hope it did. I might try and go in depth with some different points, but it's so like I said before, normally like these points just come to my head, like, and I'll be preaching, and then when I'm filming, I'm like, oh, like everything just goes, and I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing? Anyways, oh my god, if you don't know me, I'm a space girl. I really love like spacey stuff. I really do. It's obsessed. I love it. By the way, if anyone, I know you guys don't really care. Well, you might care. Let me not say that. You guys might care. Anyways, I had a hot pot today, and I had like squid for the first. Like, I say it's squid for the first time. What I mean is that I had a full squid for the first time. Like, you know, like the smallish kind of thing. Oh my god, it was like the most weirdest thing, but it was kind of good. It was nice actually. So I'm good, and I got some like moon ice cream thingies. Is it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys will get it, but anyways, yeah, so that's how it went today. The UK weather is a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy. It was like raining really bad, like pouring. Like I'm talking about people had to like stay inside buildings because the rain was really bad, and then like run out when it kind of like chilled out, and then it went really sunny, and I'm like, girl, Mother Nature must be on her period. You know what? I was gonna say same, but it's not. I can't relate right now. Can't relate. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to talk for too long, because I don't like talking if I feel like there's nothing else for me to say. I feel like when it gets to that point, it's all good. Like, I said what I needed to say. Do you know what I mean? So I take notes and I take that as a, you know, let's call it off now. You know, it's done and finished, and we have said what we needed to say that was valuable. And there we go. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. Oh, kind of giving. Anyways, yep, subscribe to my channel. If you, oh my god, guys, wait, should I say it? Yeah, I'm gonna keep going on about this a few times, I think. So I have this dimple in the middle of my forehead when I'm like smiling. I don't know if you guys have seen it before. Like, I don't want to, like, you know, there, can you see it? Like when I'm proper like cheesing, I'm like, anyways, and I was like, oh my god, this is like a really unique, like, because my mom used to be like, you know, that's unique. That it is unique. Like, who has a dimple in the middle of their forehead? Like, I call it my third eye because it is my third eye, girl. I am in tune with the universe. I'm telling you that now. And I seen this other black girl the other day on YouTube Shorts doing like really pretty makeup and hair. And then when she was laughing, she had it as well. And I thought, oh my god, like, so sister. I was like, wow. I didn't say anything. Obviously, I didn't comment or anything. So I thought, that might be weird if I comment that. I don't know. But like, and I just never thought to comment it, to be honest. But I was like, oh my god, like someone who has a dimple like that. I don't know. Maybe it is popular. I don't know. Like, everyone's just, I mean, I do have, you know, like, one here, but like, it's like everyone, that should have been, no, I'm joking. Let's keep that. Like, that could have been there. But like, I'm kidding. I love my dimple, and it's unique, and it perfectly describes me as an Aquarius, because, you know, we're just different like that, and we're just unique. Anyways, yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. What should I do for the next one? Guys, comment down below any of the things you want me to talk about. I do have a long list, like I said before, but it would be nice if somebody commented something I already had and they could, you know.